All right, now, how y'all doing out there in Atlanta Bird Gang land? It is Steve here on a Sunday, August 9th, here to talk about what we normally talk about, and that's Atlanta Falcons. It is almost that time. It is almost that time for us to get our theme started. Let me get my volume adjusted here. Sorry about that. Got a little echo going on. How are y'all today? It is Sunday. It is August 9th, and we are here to talk about Falcons. Falcons, 34 days, folks. And if you think about it, we were really close where next week, I think, would have been the first preseason game. And I say next week, I mean this Thursday would have been the first preseason game of the year coming up to it. So it's time to start talking about it. And I know everyone is going to, the doom and gloom of COVID, and it should be very much respected. We are far from out of the woods with some of this stuff, but you know what? We're speaking positivity today. We're speaking with the hope that those things are going to happen. So let's hope that we do end up having a season this year. And guess what? Nobody's canceled anything yet. So until they cancel anything, I'm going to go on the premise that we're going to have a season. So that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to go. Steven, how you doing? Hat fresh. I thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I try my best. I got the new Julio on, the Vapor White Julio. And I rocked the old school Falcon. I love this logo. I mean, if you're a longtime fan, you'll get what I'm talking about. But I love rocking the old logo. What's going on, Macario? How you feeling today, brother? Rise up to you, rise up. So as you all see in the title, again, we're coming close to, we're almost a month away from kickoff, y'all. A month away from Seattle coming into town and seeing what they got. So and we're going to look at the schedule in a little bit and update you guys on some changes. There have been a lot of opt-outs this year, and I'm not blaming those folks. I mean, we have a lot of concern. I know lately, and I'm not going to sit here and get political with everybody about everything, but I will say I understand completely the concern of folks worried about what's going on with COVID. I do. Why not? I mean, you've got to understand that this stuff is still rampant. I do understand the concern. I love the model that the NBA has with the bubble. I know that's probably, I don't want to say impossible. It's going to be harder to do in football because you're talking about 53 people plus people on those sidelines and everything else. But we're going to go on the premise again as if things are shaking out. What's going on, Jordan? How you doing? Rise up. Anthony, what is going on? Rise up. Brother Philip, I see you out there. Let's talk about these new signings. I am going to talk about those signings as well. Also, we're going to talk about Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders in the news. Is he in the news for being an honorary captain at the Falcons game? No. He's in the news for some other stuff. We're going to get on that in just a couple of minutes. But keep this one in mind, and you can answer as we go. Again, also have a phone line. We'll open that stuff up probably later on if you all want to join in on that. You'll see the number scrolling across in a couple of platforms, and in the other platforms, you see it sitting there on the corner. Aside of COVID-19, because obviously that's going to be the biggest deterrent, but aside of that, what is your biggest concern for the Falcons 2020 season, whether it be position, whether it be a situation, whether it be a team that we have on our schedule? What is your biggest concern when it comes to the 2020 Atlanta Falcons? Tell me what your concern is. I have a couple of them, and we'll get to those in a second. Brother Chadwick, how you doing? Rides up from North. Randy, I ain't seen you in a minute, man. What's going on, brother? We're making it deep into the playoff run this year. I know we are. Brother RJ, rise up to you. My brother Perry, how you feeling, man? That was a beautiful picture you had earlier today. I saw online with you. Good job. What's going on? What's happening, man? I see you over there on my channel over there. See you, good to go. JD War Eagle, Atlanta Falcons' goal is to have a running game. T. Gill and Edo Smith. Todd Gurley. I know you're talking. I see TLL, Todd Gurley the third. I'm with you. And Edo Smith have to show off. Is it Edo's job, that second string? I hope it is. Brandon says defense. What's going on, brother Brandon? How you doing, man? Running game is going to be the key. Brother Frank, how you doing? I salute you, my fellow military brother. Tidy, coaching is my biggest concern. Brother Tidy, I'm right there with you, and that was actually going to be my biggest concern. It happens to be the secondary. That's on me. RJ, the injury bug. And add injury bug to, which we hope we don't have, minor outbreaks. I hope that doesn't end up being a deterrent when you start talking about going into this season. Right now, we're in preseason, and we already had a couple of folks test positive, and that concerns me. And it should concern you, because the more of those positive tests we have, the more stops and starts we're going to have during the year. As you see baseball and what's going on with baseball, what Philly had to stop. I know they're back today playing the Braves. The Marlins had to stop. So what you don't want is a lot of stop and starts during the season. That's going to be something that you have to think about. Brother Steven says this O-line has to be great for one, and we must get the quarterback on the ground. Both very good statements. When you talk about the trenches, I'm always talking about those trenches. You have to be able to protect Matt, and on the flip side, hit those other quarterbacks down when you get a chance to. And I'm going to run through this schedule. There are a couple of quarterbacks on our schedule that we must contain and hit. If we don't, we're going to be in trouble. Michael rides up from Tampa. How you doing, brother? Randy says offensive line is his biggest concern. I hear you. I think the two guys, Lindstrom and McGarry, I think they're going to be in a better place. I hope they are. We're going to need them. Chadwick says how the team gels is my concern without preseason. Well, the only thing I say about that, Chadwick, is every single team has to do that. Every single team has to gel with each other without the benefit of going through that preseason. I think when you start to look at it, the Falcons may be in a better position as far as that is concerned, because we haven't had a lot of turnover on the team. If you're going to have a year that it would benefit you to have the same folks on your team year to year, this would be that time. Brother Quentin, what's going on, man? Supposed to be at work, aren't you, man? What's going on? Hey, Brother Joe, what's going on? Everything is great, man. We're talking about biggest concerns for 2020. Go back over here. Y'all are coming fast and furious with these comments, and I appreciate it. We will get back down there. Here we go. Philip says, my biggest concern is sense of urgency. This is the time and the team to bring it home. Philip, I'm going to tell you this. If they aren't urgent in Flowery Branch, then they might as well go on and get out of there now. I can say without a doubt, and I'm not saying that the results will end up like they are. I'm sure Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff know that it's now or never. They came close to losing their job. Anytime you have to have a basic press conference to announce that you're bringing the guys back and they're not fired, that's not a good sign. When Arthur Blank had to come out, I think it was the couple of weeks before the season, and announced that he wasn't going to make a change, that is what you call a kiss of death. And I think Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff are going to do everything in their power to try to bring a winner to this team. I know they made some signings last year. Last week, we talked about Denard, and that became official earlier this week, bringing some veteran presence to the cornerbacks back there, which is my biggest concern, what the young guys are going to do, because we face a lot of receiving threats throughout the year and mainly in our division. Steven says, thanks for serving, 22-year vet. Oh, brother, rise up, and thank you for serving. I appreciate you. War Eagle replying to Randy, I agree, Randy. Do you think running game will take pressure off offensive line? I've said it before, and I'll say it again, War Eagle. The thought of Todd Gurley in that backfield, even if he's not 100%, if he's 80% or 90%, Todd Gurley at his best is an elite running back. Are we getting the elite guy? Probably not. Are we getting some facsimile of it? I think we are. And if we can get that facsimile of a guy here in Atlanta, here in front of Matt, I think that will help the run game so much. I think it really will. So from my standpoint, that's going to be a big deal. That run game is going to be crucial. Because really, when you think about it, behind Gurley, you have a couple of middle-of-the-road guys. Ito is not all that. He had a couple of flashes. So far, Ito reminds me was the young kid who came in and ran the ball a couple of times and got Antone Smith. He has that type of feeling to me. He's not a bell cow right now. So our running game, along Todd Gurley, we're going to have to get some production out of Todd. We've got to. No doubt. Frank says, my biggest worry are O linemen and D linemen. Are we going to block better for the running game and help Matt stand up and defense getting after the quarterback? You echoed the same thoughts. I think that was Randy that brought those up. You can't win without your trenches, folks. You can't. As much as we look back at Big Beasley when he was in his second year, that defensive line, especially the second half of the year, when Beasley, Hagelman, Grady Jarrett, and Adrian Claiborne, when those guys were at their best, we saw results, and we marched those results all the way to the Super Bowl. So I think having those trenches taken care of, that's a big deal. You got to. Got to. Macario, can we break the fourth quarter curse and the defense and offense keep pressure? Man, that fourth quarter. There was a time early in Matt's career where Matt was clutch. If you think about the stat they get ready to throw out every time, how many comebacks how many fourth quarter comebacks? Most of those comebacks happened before 2016. Matt was a little clutch back then. No, was he great? No. But he definitely used to lead the team down to game-winning field goals by Matt Bryant and even in sometimes touchdowns. That's important. That fourth quarter, you got to close. You have to close. And what is this Atlanta team going to be known for forever until we win the Super Bowl? Not being able to close. That's our biggest narrative right now. Anthony, biggest concern for me is our linebacker core. Debo can't do it by himself. We don't know what we have in our rookie yet, and people are still on the fence about Aluaquan. I don't blame you. Aluaquan, by the way, along with Jalen Hawkins and Tyler Davidson, all came off of the COVID list. So they'll be working their way into practice next week. So good to hear that. But I hear you about the linebackers. Look, people aren't talking about it. That DeAndre Campbell move, that move right there, y'all be careful what you wish for. That particular move, that's a big deal. That's a huge deal. Because, look, that was your leading. Do you guys realize that was your leading tackler, right? We lost our leading tackler last year. It wasn't Debo. That was Campbell. And we're going to miss him. We are. JD, do you think we need a blitzing scheme? You know, JD, you know what I would love to have? I would love to be able to put pressure with the front four. Now, if Marlon Davidson comes as advertised, I would love for us to just be able to have the rotating guys coming in on the ends and being able to free up Dante, get Grady and Big Marlon to collapse everything inside and make it easy for Tack on one side, Dante Fowler on the other side to bring some pressure that way. I know we re-signed Brother Means and the other defensive tackle is losing my mind at the moment. But we need to worry about trying to get pressure with four. Do you need to have a blitzing package? Of course you do. Always have something in the back of your mind. But the more you can do with bringing four people, the better you can let your linebackers do their job, and more importantly, let this young secondary be able to do what they need to do. Lisa, how you doing? Rise up. Twan, our biggest concern is our offensive line and OC putting this offense back on track. Again, Matt Ryan has been known to do better in his second year with OCs. And I know Dirk Cutter was here before, but let's face it, Matt had to probably be untaught a lot of stuff when you start talking about what he had to go through with Kyle Shanahan and then the 2 years of Steve Sarkisian. So I'm going to give Dirk Cutter a little bit of a bye because this is the year where all the stuff comes together. You really have no excuse, especially when you start looking at the potential of your skill positions, the potential of this wide receiver skill position, that Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley. And I don't even care who you put at the third spot because I love the growth of all of them. I love the growth of Gage. I love the growth of Zacchaeus. I love the growth of Blake, the addition of Treadwell. We have the potential to have the best wide receiver core in the NFL, top to bottom. I'm not saying top two, but top to bottom. We have the potential to have one of the best receiving core. Todd Gurley is already an upgraded running back. Still have questions of who's going to back him up. Hayden Hurst, left out to dry by Baltimore. He's looking for a redemptive season. So we have the pieces in play. And don't forget about my brother Graham either. Graham was actually showing out for us for a little bit. Not that he was going to jump right in for Hooper, but he showed flashes that he could do the job. So the tight end position may not be as bad as you think. And my brother in the back at fullback was doing a great job as well. Chat with TD is sitting in the corner. Listen to us. Hey, he should be. He should be. I listen. And that's not. You got to do what you got to do. You do. Denard is not afraid to play defense. Ernest Hall, what do you think about the linebacking core? Do you think Neal will play in the box? Somebody else said that last week. I don't have a problem with that, especially since, when you think about we do have a little bit of experience back there in safety, and then they did sign J.J. Wilcox back last year. He got hurt, so Yeah. But Journeyman played with Dallas. I know he played with the Jets. Is he healthy? Hopefully he's healthy and he's ready to go. But with him back there in safety, backing up KZ and Ricardo, we could be in a position where you could bring Neal down in the box. They tried that with Kamal Ishmael a couple of years ago. Worked so. Maybe we can work that out. Jeremy, a good running game opened up our offensive weapons. Absolutely, it does. DeMarcus, how you doing? Good evening. Good to see you. Philip says we got ball hawks, pass rushing. Not much is going to get through the D-line. We should limit teams to 17 and under. We will average 27 points or more. If we're doing that, then we should be in the running for NFC champions. Macario, I'm so ready to kick off, my brother. We have a monster squad this year. And again, on paper, the potential of what these guys can do, just the potential alone, folks, I'm excited. I mean, I really am. I think we have the potential to be a great team this year, not just a good team. I think we have the potential to be a great team this year. I don't care what these funky magazines keep saying, but every magazine I've looked at has us in third place in the NFC South. Every last one of them. But I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling them. I think we are destined to be a really good team this year. Now, we have to get through this schedule that we have, which I'm going to go through here in a quick second too. So again, we have the first 10 weeks. I'm sorry, the first 9 weeks is like alternating. Seattle at home, at Dallas, Chicago at home, at Green Bay. In my mind, there's no reason we can't go 3-1. Rusty at the car wash. You know, Rusty, I need you to come get my truck and run it through the car wash as well while you're there. Glad you own, though, brother. Throw me some highlights. We're talking about biggest concerns for 2020, Rusty, and I know you're watching, but come holler at me. Deion Buchanan is going to be in the box to play linebacker and will play nickel and safety, and that's a good move. That's actually not a bad move. It will be intriguing for Neal because we all know Neal is a great tackler. To put him down in there, and we know he's going to bring some wood. So I think that's the reason why you bring that down. PJ say, I doubt we have a season. I hope we do, though. PJ, listen, if we don't, it'll be devastating, but I think we'll know why. It would be, at this point right now, I'm going to be positive about it because I do feel like, especially that you're seeing baseball, even with its stops and starts. You're seeing basketball, even though basketball had a master plan, which is great. You're seeing soccer. You're seeing tennis starting to come back. Everyone's giving a good shot at this thing. So you think the NFL, as much money as they make, you don't think they're going to try their best to give a good try? I'm not saying you personally, PJ. But what I'm saying is the NFL is going to try as much as possible to do this thing right. And the great advantage right now the NFL has is time and the ability to be able to watch the other leagues succeed and fail. I'm sure they're watching the NBA model to see what they're doing and how they're keeping not a positive test in a couple of weeks. And also looking at baseball. What they've had to do with the Marlins and the Phillies and St. Louis, kind of up and down thing. So there are things to learn about this. This is new to everyone. There's not going to be this crying out for me that this league is horrible because of a COVID breakout. Dude, everybody is suffering because of this. I just saw something recently, this school that they were showing on TV that had all the crowded folks and stuff like that. They had a couple of positive results, even though the best intentions they had on going to school and trying to learn which I think they should have done. But I don't want to get political. Let's go back here. Twan said, I actually think he's going to be better versus man because of his speed, man. Hooper was better against the zone because he could find holes, and linebackers were kind of able to stay with him. Yeah, I feel you on that. JD says 4-0 during that stretch. I hope we can. Gabriel says 4-0. Listen, when you think about Seattle, you think Russell Wilson. After you think Russell Wilson, be honest, true, what do you think about? I'm going to read these and tell me. After Russell Wilson for Seattle, what do they have? Chadwick, after week 4 is where Brady is hurt and Breeze gets taught to throw like Winston. Chadwick said we will be ranked higher. Says Buchanan has the experience and made a difference in the defense. I believe that Deion Buchanan will play that role and Neil will play safety. Well, listen. If Deion can come in here and solidify the linebacker core, trust me, I will take it. I will take it. Twan says, we are having the season. Can't keep my playing Madden for my football picks, man. I'm trying to tell you, dude. It is stir crazy. But again, if you look at the sporting environment, and nobody's disrespecting what's going on in the real world, but folks, people, it's a little different now. You're starting to get folks talking about sports. You're starting to see sports. The NFL is the most polarizing sport in the United States. They are going to try. College football, the only difference I say with college football is going to be controlled by those governors of those conferences, the governors, the commissioners of those conferences. And when you start talking about young kids, you're talking about 18 to 21. When you start talking about them, you are going to have mamas and daddies that ain't going to care if their son is a 5-star going to the University of Auburn. They want their child safe. They're going to tell their child to pull back. That's the bottom line. Rusty says, we have the talent and the skill positions on the O&D. Our fate will lie in the hands of the line play on both sides. I've seen a picture floating around about Matt Ryan's passer rating under pressure last season. Don't let that fool you. Matt Ryan needs a stellar O-line play. He is not a spring chicken anymore. I would say my biggest concern is the line protecting him. I think the defensive line will be okay. We've talked a lot about the O-line and D-line, Rusty. You're absolutely on point. And listen, to your point about Matt, yeah, I care about passer rating, and then like you, I don't care. Keep Matt upright. Keep Matt protected. You keep Matt protected, I promise you the results will show. If Matt isn't running for his life, and if he's able to have a very clean play action game with the addition of Todd Gurley, we're going to have the results, folks. You don't have to worry about it. We're going to have the results, without a doubt. Perry says the biggest concern in 2020, it's a tie with our rookie cornerbacks, your cornerbacks, and a lot. Listen, that's what I'm talking. The secondary, folks, we are young. And if any of you have been listening to me over the last year, I talked about how excited I was about our young guys growing. And it's still true. Very excited. But I'm also concerned. I'm also concerned because the experience factor that we have in the secondary when we're going up against New Orleans, when we're going up against Tampa Bay, and not because of Tom Brady, but because of Mike Evans, who has killed us over the years. When we're going up against Mahomes in late December, when you start talking about the true battlefield that we have to go through, that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So just don't be surprised if we take our lumps early. But I think the teams I just named in that first 4 are going to be okay. Macario says, Sucks and the Aints both losing their first game. I'm here to tell y'all, and I'm not trying to hype us because we're Atlanta Falcon fans. I'm here to tell you, the Saints will not win the division unless something injury-wise happens to Atlanta. The Falcons are primed to win this division. New Orleans, and here's the thing, you can't say it to a New Orleans fan because they don't understand and they have blinders on. New Orleans has been picked to go to the Super Bowl every year for the past 3 years. Every year. What has New Orleans done? New Orleans has gone 2-2. I'm sorry, 2-3. New Orleans has failed the last 3 years when they were favored. What makes y'all think they're going to do any better? Drew Brees during those 3 years has watched his play decline. I don't care if he throws the ball 700 times. If I throw the ball 700 times, somebody's going to catch it 400. If I throw the Michael Thomas 160 times, no, actually I think it was 180. If I throw to Michael Thomas 186 times with a god dog, he better catch 150 if he's a professional. I'm not bought in on this New Orleans Saints team. And I'm almost wondering, again, trying to stay out of politics. The Drew Brees stuff, you cannot deny that's going to be interesting to see what happens. When you start playing football, maybe you have a tendency to forget all that stuff, but I'm not dumb, folks. I'm trying to tell you that stuff weighs on people. It really does. Let's go back here. We got RJ says, I hope that the undrafted free agent wins the return duties on special teams. You talking about what's my brother's name? You talking about Hawkins or you talking about Hawkins playing defense? Tell me who you're talking about. RJ, I apologize. I'm losing my track of my draft picks. Twan says, sorry, let's get back here. Y'all are writing today. I love it. Twan says, man, I'm just ready to see some live football. Of course, we'd have preseason right now. Yeah, I think that's the only thing, having to deal with this wait for preseason. I can't wait for this stuff to get started. Chadwick says, Gurley on the screen pass will be stellar. I'm trying to tell you. Listen, you can't double everybody on the team. You have an elite wide receiver in Julio, and when healthy, you have an elite running back with Todd. You can't divide all the attention to both of them. And then the potential for our buddy Calvin Ridley to do some things. I'm trying to tell you. What's up, brother? Brother Fred, how you doing, man? For the record, I hate the Saints. Just to add to that record, I hate them too. So just to add some clarity to it, I do hate the Saints. Bro, let's go down here to Gabriel says, I believe the two 40-year-old quarterbacks won't be as effective as late in the season. Breeze hasn't been great in the playoffs. But Gabriel, think about it too. Breeze hasn't been great in the final stretch for the last couple of years. He hasn't. Think about near the end of the year. He had that one game against Indianapolis where he went 28 for 30 and all of that. But after that, he hasn't done much. What has he done? Garbage. Absolute garbage. And Tom Brady, I'm trying to tell y'all, Tom Brady is going to fall on his face. Because this ain't Buffalo. I had a full out argument with somebody at work that had the nerve to tell me that the AFC East is a better division than the NFC South. For those of you who are drinking, or for those of you who might be driving and turned in your car, he said that AFC East is a better division than the NFC South. Sit on that for a minute. Sit on that for a couple of seconds. I don't even know what to say about that. Toya says, yes, Falcons should win the division. They better win the division. I think they will. Perry says, I believe if Oliver with his 6'2" height can be that shutdown cornerback. He can be game on for the defense. Oliver is key. Period. Of all the people that last year, I love the progress. Think about how much trash Oliver was that when they were I throw trash out and bust, and I want to be careful because I say Oliver wasn't meant to be thrown out there that year that he was thrown out there. He was a second-round pick, but at the same time, that was when was it Alfred got hurt or Trufant in 2018, and he got thrown into the fire early. But you know what? Sometimes you react positively, and sometimes you react negatively. In my eyes, I think it was a good thing for him because now he doesn't look as scared as he did. Look at some of the plays. Go back if you guys have NFL Game Passes. Is one of the greatest things in the world. If you get a chance to go back, go look at Oliver's play near the end of the year. Oliver made some really good play. Was he still getting toasted? Yes. But he made some really good plays. Sheffield came along last year. Really good stuff, I believe. As for the record, I hate Tom Brady too. So do I. I hate Tom Brady. As a matter of fact, I hate New England. How about that one? JD said, like my comment, if Michael Thomas is overrated. Hey, man, let me tell you. Michael Thomas is the 21st century. I can't say 21st century because he played too. He's the 2020 Marvin Harrison. I'll throw a pass to you because I know you'll catch it. But what else you gonna do? That's what he is to me. Terrence Mathis, when he was with the Falcons, was better than Michael Thomas. Terrence Mathis was one of those guys that just caught the ball and did his thing. I would argue Terrence Mathis did more with the ball in his hand than Michael Thomas. And I don't want to take away from the fact that Michael Thomas is a very good receiver. He really is. But all this, number one, that's when you know fantasy football has taken over from real football observationists. People who really watch football. People see 144 catches and 1,700 yards and think that means you're the best. No, it doesn't. So who cares about a player list when they rank you 5 spots over Julio? Who cares? Did you have a great statistical year? Absolutely. Did that help you beat Kirk Cousins in the first round of the playoffs? No. Sorry, man. Lisa says, I hate that the Aints won the NFC South 3 consecutive years, except for this recent stretch when the Panthers did it 2013 2015. NFC South usually has a different team winning the division. I do remember we had that stretch where it kept changing and changing and changing. But, yeah, this Saints thing has got to go. This Saints love fest. And it's a national love fest now. Oh, the poor Saints lost when poor Stephen Diggs scored the 64-yard touchdown when the rookie was trying to hit him instead of just tackling him. Oh, the poor Saints got a pass interference call that changed the history of the world. We're going to change the rules for the Saints so next time it happens, they'll get there. Even though after the pass interference, the greatest quarterback in the history of the world, Drew Brees, still had a chance to win the game and threw an interception. Oh, the Saints got it this year. They're going to get revenge against the Vikings. They have them at home. Who that? Yin Yang Twins in the round. Same result. Get they behind, whooped at home. The Saints' love affair is over, folks. Time for them to fall in love with another team. My team. Go back down here. JD says, I wish defensive play press coverage instead of allowing receivers to get open space separation. But if you noticed a little bit last year, they mixed it up. The zone kills us all the time. Now at least they have these corners now that can stay with the wide receivers. The one thing I criticized all the time about the Atlanta Falcons secondary is they can't stay with these receivers. Trufant came in as this shining cornerback that was supposed to be lockdown. Trufant showed he couldn't stay with a lot of the main receivers. He couldn't hook up with a lot of the main receivers. Was he talented? Was he good at spurts? Absolutely. But a lot of vulnerability when it came to Trufant. Again, I tell y'all so, I've always liked Alford better. Brother Larry, how you doing, man? Good to see you today. We're talking about your biggest concern for the 2020 season. My brother John Harris is coming in talking about why y'all hating. Just beat him when you see him. John Harris is the antithesis of what you Falcon fans. He's the I love my Falcons, but I hate my quarterback guy. We love him. We still support him. We put him in therapy every year, but we still got his back. All right. Twan says, look at our first game of the year. The Seattle team is good, but we've beaten better Seattle teams before. Our D-line has just got to get out of their O-line. Well, I'll take it one step further for you, Twan. We beat Seattle. We've lost to Seattle 2 times only over the last, 6 years? And those were in regular season. When they counted, Seattle hasn't beat us in the postseason. I'm not ready. I'm not scared of Seattle. If anything, Seattle should be scared of us, in my opinion. Trey said, damn, that New Jersey look good. Oh, man. Jaquan, what's going on, man? They say that Jersey is clean. It's clean because it's got number 11. Number 11 is the guy, even though I must admit, I'm waiting for my main guy. Because my guy this year, man, and we'll get into that. I'll get there in a second. Love, thank you, though. I appreciate it. Let's see. JD's, let's see. Anthony says he's smoking rocks if he believes that. Yeah. Lisa, how the NFC South is much more competitive division. What is that person thinking? Listen, when I heard that, yeah, we had a whole break room kind of getting in our conversation. He didn't win the conversation about the AFC East, but trust me. Gabriel said Falcons are primed to win this division. Phillips said Julio, Ridley, and Gurley will have 1,000+ yards with Hurst not far behind them at 800. If that happens, Philip, if that happens, we will be the NFC South champs. JD says, I wish that defensive back will play press coverage instead of allowing receivers to get 3 to 4 steps, which cause separation. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Our secondary needs some help. And the great thing I liked about Raheem when he took over the secondary is that you saw immediate results. What's going on, Brother Herb? How you feeling today, bro? You saw those results. Now they have to build on that. They must build on that. Chad, the NFC South has had multiple playoff teams for years. What was the last team? The Jets were a playoff team. Let me tell you something. Look, Buffalo had a lucky year with Tyrod Taylor that they made the playoffs. I'll give them credit for what they put on the field last year. They had a solid squad last year and barely lost the game to Houston. But when you look back at what Tom Brady has started the season with 6 wins every year. But before he even took the field, he knew he had 6 wins in the AFC East. When Tom Brady comes, when he throws that first pass in the NFC South, he's going to realize, oh, man, I didn't know they played ball like this here. I didn't know that. Rusty says, I listen to Colin Cowherd every day on the radio, and Rob Parker was a guest the other day. He said the NFC South will be between Tampa and Atlanta. Rob Parker is one of my favorite radio heads before that. Now he's just confirming how smart I thought he was before that comment. Listen, I don't disagree with that to a certain extent. I'm not buying the Tampa Bay hype. I'm not. Am I ferociously scared of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin? Absolutely. But aside of that, there's nothing to be afraid, and that starts at the quarterback. Now, you told me Tom Brady 5 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe. Just go. All you have to do, as my buddy JR would say, John Harris say, watch the tape. Go watch the tape. Brady is a shell of what he was before. JD said, which, I did that one already. Sorry. His name is Chris Rowland, the undrafted free agent. I'd like to see win the return duties. Thank you, RJ. And we need a return guy. We haven't had a solid return guy since that 1 year Hester came in here. We really haven't. That's an important deal right there, RJ. We special teams all together. We haven't talked a lot about it. Yes, we know Koo came in here and hit some clutch field goals, but what have you done for me lately? What was the Italian cat that came in here last year and did the same thing, teased us with those game-winning field goals, had a great game against New York with the 50-yard field goals, and then the next year turned out to be nothing. So I need to see what he's going to do coming into this year. John Harris says, Ryan and McGarry are my main concerns, but Samoan got to play on the D-line. Listen, we have to get help for Grady on the D-line. We must. Lisa says, did you hear about the lady in Buffalo, New York that died, and it was put in her obituary that she hated Tom Brady? Look, that stuff is real. That is real. Perry says Seahawks, 49ers, Green Bay, Minnesota, Philly, Falcons, Aints. Those are your 7 playoff teams right there. Dallas and Bucks go to hell. Well, listen, you don't have to worry about Dallas. Listen, Dallas is another team that, to me, gets too much press. They get pressed because they're Dallas, and Dallas was the golden team of the 70s and the golden team of the early 90s. If you look at since that last Super Bowl that Dallas won, what has the Cowboys franchise done? And I love people that go back and revisit this history and try to put it into 2020. Dallas, you have nothing to say in the last 30 years against the Falcons. Nothing. And I say 30. Let me cut it to 25 because they won some Super Bowls in there. Last 25 years, Dallas, you cannot compare to the Atlanta Falcons. Because that was also doing a lot of Tony Romo year, a lot of mixing and matching years. Dallas has nothing to talk about. And I'm wasting time talking about them right now. Be honest with you. JD says Seattle is going to be okay this year, but we can still beat them. I will always have respect for Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is one of those guys that when he gets on the field, if he's on the field and he's healthy, you got to pay attention to him. He makes that team go, whether it's Lockett out there on the wide receiver end, whether it's any running back there, because they don't have any running backs, to be honest with you, ever since Marshawn Lynch left. Russell Wilson is that guy, but he has to have help. And the defense, the Legion of Boom, that stuff is gone. Football years, 5 years is a generation. That Legion of Boom stuff, leave it alone. I don't want to hear Seattle people talk about Legion of Boom. Legion of Boom left long time ago. They are done. JD says Buffalo Bills going 13-3. Now, this year, I will say Buffalo has a really good chance to do what New England was doing a few years ago. Taking advantage of a soft pillow Charmin division like the AFC East. Because Darnell ain't scaring nobody. And I don't care how good Tua's hip is. I don't think he's scaring anybody this year either. Jermaine says Cowherd think he knows everything. He is okay though. He's entertaining. I like him. He's okay. I don't stay on his every word though. JD says I wish Atlanta would bring back wearing their white jerseys at home. Dallas is overrated. Worried about Green Bay and Kansas City. Hayden Hurst is overrated. Speaking of Dallas, how do you feel about J.J. Wilcox coming back? Again, depth that's what it's all about. Depth, having it for us. So I'm down. It's a good move. It's a good move. You can never have enough depth when you start talking about defense, especially. Okay, I wanted to talk real briefly about Deion Sanders. And we love us some Prime, and so I don't want to get this into a bashing thing, but I just found it kind of interesting, his comments. I really did. I like Deion, but let's read it though. Let's see what he's talking about. Deion says all players opting out in all sports. Please believe the game will go on without you. This is a business, and don't you ever forget that. There is no one that's bigger than the game itself. Only the ref, umps, and officials are that important, and you can't play without them. Not you. #true. Now, I think when I look at the spirit of what he was saying, now, the one thing I wish he would do is kind of come back and clarify. Now, was it a certain person you were talking about? Because you've been looking at people like Odell, who is a walking contradiction. When he turns around and tries to say absolutely nobody should play, and then turns around and I'm down for the team. So you do get a mixed message there. I think the only problem I have with Deion coming out like that is because well, I'm going to start here. Aside of the part about opting out, the game will go on without you. That has yet to be seen because we haven't got to a season yet. And as many of you have pointed out, let's see how this bad boy turns out. This is a business. That's a fact. And don't you forget that opinion. There is no one that's bigger than the game itself. That's a fact. Only the refs, umps, and officials are that important that you can't play without them. Not you. Now, that last little part, I'm wondering, is he talking about a certain player or all players? Because there are some players I've heard getting ready to have a baby, they have people in their lives that have conditions that they can't be with. So every situation isn't about being selfish, just saying, I can't play. So I think that's the only pause that I say with Deion to say, yeah, Prime, but be careful, because you're not going out there hoping and praying that one of the 22 people on the team on the other side doesn't contract anything. Because remember what this thing is doing. This thing might go from me to you without even knowing it. And then next thing is in somebody's grandmother's house. And lies, I want people to live as long as they can. So I think maybe a little insensitive because every situation isn't the same. It really seems like he was taking a pot shot. If you look at the last line when he started talking about You can't play without them. I'm sorry. Only the refs, umps, and officials are not that important. You can't play without them, not you. That sounded like that was a personal shot at somebody. I almost wish he would come out and clarify that. JD says, whoa, Jaquan Prime literally thought he was bigger than the game when he played. This is true. Gregory, I live in Dallas area, but I'm a Grady baby, moved here for job purposes. Dallas is overrated as hell. They'll need more than McCarthy because that ain't it for. For everybody that criticizes Matt Ryan, it's amazing to me that the love affair with Dak is so strong. What has Dak done that Matt didn't do? I'll sit and wait for the answer because he hasn't. Toya says, sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. He could have worded it better or spoke to the specific player he was talking about. Toya, you get the ding ding award because that's exactly what I think. I think some people were ready to run with it and say he was dissing the whole football family and football nation. Toya, it sounded like, again, the polarizing person that had been kind of, Odell even made a comment, which we know is sensitive these days. They treat us like slaves. And, you never get anywhere with that. And especially, I'm not going to subscribe to that with Odell when his bank account is more than 10 times more than what I've made in my lifetime. So when you throw terms and you throw stuff like that out, I'm almost wondering, was Deion specifically trying to talk to one of those players that try to make comparisons about things and try to make yourself look like you're bigger than the game? But back to Jaquan, what he was talking about, Deion was one of those people back in the day too. Maybe not as lightning rod as Odell, but he was. I just thought that was very. Deion could have given some better perspective on that to me, in my opinion. I can't tell Prime what to say, but he made himself an easy target with that. And I don't like that because Prime's one of my favorite players. But it is what it is. He a big boy. He could take it. JD said, I agree. I think some players like AB or someone ego is too high. Odell is going to ruin his career. Yeah, Odell has not made any fans for some of his stuff over the last couple of years. I've never been an Odell catch. I think the Odell fan. I think the one catch he made was a spectacular catch, but that still doesn't make you the best player, best wide receiver in the NFL. There are some people that are ready to put him down as one of the best players to ever play, which is crazy to me that he does that. I'm going to go back to this Saints bashing because this is an Atlanta Falcons group, so we're going to Saints bash. So talking to another Saints guru guy, we were talking about Cameron Jordan, and Cameron Jordan had the little tweet where he was talking about, Falcons only have 10,000 people there. They're used to having that. Ha, 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 ha. And I was rebutting to the guys, like, what has Cameron Jordan done? Because NFC South divisions, I mean, you can brag to your division about it, but really, what is that? Cameron Jordan is a really good defensive player, but I'm saying, dude, get you some hardware. You're riding Drew Brees' pass, and you haven't done anything as a team. If New Orleans had, if you really look from 2009, and I would pull it up, but I'm not even going to give the Saints the respect to pull up anything on their site. But if you think from the time Drew Brees won that won that Super Bowl, the Bounty Gate, where they were paying people to do stuff. Since they won that Super Bowl, you can argue that the Saints have been the most overrated team in the NFL. Tell me I'm not right. For all the drama with Tom Brady and the Deflate Gate and the taking the video of the teams and all this and all that, the problem is he's still winning Super Bowls. That Super Bowl from a couple of years ago, that was not. That was 3 years ago. The one he won. No, was it 3 years ago or 2 years ago? When they beat not Philadelphia, when they beat the Rams. It was 2 Super Bowls ago. It wasn't that long ago. So Tom Brady has more credibility to me than the Saints. Saints were the darling team, and it came off the Katrina stuff, which I understand. Great humanitarian stuff they were doing back then, and I get it, America's favorite. But after that lucky win against the Colts, when the Colts were supposed to whoop them, after that win, what have the Saints really done? What have they really done? They've done nothing. So when I say Saints fans this year, that's why I think even this year more than ever, I think this almost but not quite is going to catch up with them. 13-3 during the season, you can't even get out the first round. You can't even beat your rival team at home. You didn't even score a touchdown against your rival team at home last year. Shut up, Cameron Jordan. Keep it in the closet. Relax. Be quiet. Win the hardware that you don't have. Stop riding on Drew Brees. And you win. I got no love for the Saints. 0. That won't change. That won't change. Scar says, yee. Hey, what's going on, Scar? How you feeling, man? Lisa says he's always talking trash. He was on the NFL's IG page last week. It was rising up all on the thread. Yeah. Drew Brees changed New Orleans. Yep. And listen, there's no doubt about that. I'm not look, you can't take that Super Bowl away from Drew Brees. And you can argue that Drew Brees absolutely is the reason why they won that Super Bowl. But that was Drew Brees. Cam Jordan, I'm sorry. You don't get that pass. Gabriel said Brees is the only player on their team with a ring. I think he is. Now, how long did Morstead? Was Morstead on that team? Morstead might be the only other person that was on that team, but I'm not sure if he was on there or not. But to your point, Brees the only person with a ring. How are you going to jock him? Yeah, the Falcons only have 10,000 people. Yeah, if you want to start talking about season, let me show you back when they had bags on their face. Idiot. Drew Brees was close to getting a statue in New Orleans until he made that comment in June. I agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. Henry, what's going on? Rise up, brother, all the way from New Jersey. Thank you for joining us tonight. We were talking about your biggest concern for the 2020 Atlanta Falcons. A lot of us gave some good reasons earlier, so be sure to put yours up there. Jaqual says, feast of famine since then. They picked in the top 5 without trading since that Super Bowl. JD says, I love it when the Saints fans cry. I love it when they do too. John says, I'm mad at my team because we allowed the Saints to win the division 3 straight years. Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about that. But they didn't win the big one. So I'm not ready to exactly just sell out for them. Okay, and then as I told y'all before, this is how we gonna end tonight. I told y'all before at the end of, at the beginning of this year when we got the jerseys, and I'm getting one for all the family. My son has Debo. My wife has Julio. I have Matt Ryan, and Gurley is coming in, so we're waiting for Gurley to come. But my jersey that I'm waiting for is the guy I'm riding with, and that's Big Grady. And not because for any other reason, that he is a major, major key to what we're going to do next year. Grady is my guy. So I ride or die, aside of Matt and Julio. Matt and Julio are National Guard. Who is your ride or die Falcon player, current Falcon player that you have right now? Mine is Grady. And trust me, when the Grady jersey, that's the gradient one. That's the red into the black. When my Grady jersey comes on, when I'm watching these Falcon games with y'all, trust me, that's the one I'm going to be sporting, my Grady jersey. So that's my ride or die player. Who is your ride or die Falcon player? So it says rise up and boot them ain'ts. I'm trying to tell you. Macario, I hope we stop a mud hole in ice this year. Oh, man. Lisa said, did you see Breeze wearing the Black History Month Nikes in the latest Photoshop released by the Aints? Even the Aints are saying he needs to stop trying so hard. See, that you know when he tried so hard, Lisa? I'm going to tell you when he tried so hard. I'm going to imitate it. Hold on, let me put a scar by my face. Hold on. Look in my eyes. Look at my eyes, black people. Look at my eyes. I was like, yeah, I don't want to look at your eyes. I thought that was one of the most ridiculous things in the world. I was like, stupid. Let's see. Go back up here. Say Henry says we win in the Super Bowl this season, but we won't get the respect because of the pandemic. That's a lie. Let me tell you something. Henry, we win the Super Bowl, we're going to get, because you had a team that won 9 games back in 1982, the Washington Redskins, and nobody goes back and put an asterisk by that team. The strike year, when they had the replacement players, nobody goes back and put an asterisk by that. The real players won. They played 9 games. The replacement players played the other one. Nobody goes back and put an asterisk by them. They're Super Bowl champs. I think if we're Super Bowl champs, Henry, I think we'll be Super Bowl champs. Doesn't matter. Lisa said, we make it to the Super Bowl, I'll be in Tampa with a hazmat suit on. I know you will. JD said, AJ Terrell, Marlon Davidson. Very good. Very good. If my brother Davidson can come in here and just give Grady a little love, and I know in Auburn he played on the outside, but with that 300-pound girth, I'm going to just keep him at Popeyes as long as I can and feed him all the meat he can get and get him to bulk up there with Grady. Trust me. Gabriel says, Julio, this is a big year for Julio. This is a big year for number 11. Because this is the first big year that money kicks in. And the criticism will be real. The criticism will be real, and starting from me. You got to. $20 million a year as a wide receiver. You got to show up now. As much as I love you, you got to show up. Jory says Big Grady. I agree with you. I think Grady is on the verge of being mentioned in the same breath as Aaron Donald if he steps up even more than he has. Because really, by far, he's been collectively the best player on Atlanta since the Super Bowl. You can argue. Toya says, Grady, I hear you. Masha said, Masha or Marsha, I apologize. Masha Watkins says, Julio. Toya says Julio. Randy says Julio. And not only are we saying Julio because of talent and because of what he is for the team, I'm telling you, folks, the standards got to be high. Standards got to be high for Julio this year. Anthony says Debo. That's a big one, Anthony, because for right now, even though I know we were talking about Buchanan coming in and hope Jalen Hawkins can adjust and not Jalen Hawkins, I'm sorry. Oluokwan can come in and help Debo do his thing at linebacker. He is crucial. Joe Mitt says Grady. George says, I'm going to ride with Marlon Davidson too. That's a good choice. Big Marlon. Marlon come in here and just do his job. We'll be fine. Look at that. Yeah. Look at my go back and look at that video. If y'all want to laugh on a Sunday evening, y'all just want to have a good laugh, go back and pull up Drew Brees look into my eyes. I'm sure it'll come up. That was one of the funniest videos. Oh, man. Macario says, Grady on and off the field, solid brother. And listen, I like the fact, and not that it should matter, Brady get on. And Brady, if you listen to Grady and turn your head, Grady sounds like one of the most low-key cats. But boy, every time I saw Grady, he gets after it on the field. He gets after it and consistently gets after it. All he needs is a little help. I think with Dante there, I think it's going to be good. PJ says, who is your sleeper player? My sleeper player, I mentioned it last week, and I think he's going to be even more crucial to the how great this offense can be, because everybody's going to be looking at number 11. Everybody's going to be looking in the backfield at Todd Gurley. Calvin, I have declared myself elite. Ridley, slow yourself down, is going to get his touches. Hayden Hurst is that guy that I think is going to end up playing a big role, especially in the red zone. Hooper finally developed, albeit in his fourth year in Atlanta. He developed into that guy. Hayden Hurst, I think, can take it to the next level. And I really mean that. I'm not saying I love me some Hoop. But I watched some flashes of Hayden Hurst. Dude, we're not getting a scrub. Kind of dealt the bad hand in Baltimore, where the other tight ends started showing up. But Hayden Hurst got a lot to prove, too. He's got a lot to prove. And I think that's going to be interesting to see how that comes out. RJ say I'm riding with Fowler. Fowler, another big one, biggest free agent money-wise that we brought into the franchise. Not a re-sign. Biggest free agent money-wise that we brought in here. Dante is a key. Dante is definitely a key. We've got to. Master says Neal, Hurst, Davison, Gurley, Ridley, and the rest of the players will be fired. I hope they are. Because if they are, we should be big-time winners. John says, already rode and died with his team. The car is a wreck, and the driver is crippled. Yeah, notice how we were all positive about things, and then just like the troll that he is, he comes down and pours stuff on there. Somebody put if y'all put a mad emoji on John Harris, that'll make my day. Y'all just go to John Harris in his I already rode and died with this team. This car is a wreck, and the driver is crippled. Just put a mad emoji there just to let me know that he is just the slep rock of the Atlanta Burger King. Thank you. That's what. Thank you, y'all. Let them know, y'all. Let them know that he is. All right, JD says mine are Calvin Ridley, Hayden Hurst, in between Ito and Brian Smith. I'm probably Brian Hill. I apologize. Brian Hill had some flashes last year, but I really, really hope that Ito can return to some kind of form, because he really did look like he was going to be a big part of this team. I hope he is. Masha says, yep, Hurst is the guy. I think he is. Gabriel says Hurst definitely on sleeper on offense. Lisa says Grady wants it. He works out hard in the offseason and wants to win. He talks about the Falcons performing to their potential. Only thing I did see about Grady, and I mean this because I love me some Grady Jarrett. Grady looked like he done slimmed up a little bit. And look, bro, I want you to be in the best shape of your career. But boy, it wouldn't hurt me, man, if I go out and got you some Shane's Rib Shack and just put some more meat on you. Because I got to have you in that middle. But I say all that in jest. I know Grady going to take care of himself. He's good. JD says Hayden Hurst can block and can find open in zone coverages. He's going to be critical for third downs and red zones. I think he would well as well. Neil's got to stay healthy. That's a very good point. Neil this is his third shot, and we're this close, and I'm hoping he can stay healthy, just for the young man himself, because he seems to be a good young man. And let's face it, when he's on, he's on. When he's off, it is what it is. Masha, did the Falcons sign J.J. Wilcox? They did. And I think he was going to come in here and provide some depth last year before he tore his ACL. So let's hope that he's still able to do those things coming up into this year. I'll just say, yeah, they made it official today. Yeah, and that's going to be a good depth move, y'all. I'm not looking for him to be a starter. I'm looking for him to provide depth. This is aside of Rico, this is a very young secondary. And adding Denard helped, but we're going to really need more. Macario said, do you think Davidson is going to push Tack to crush that outside? See, and listen, he made his living down there in Auburn on the outside. So it's not going to hurt my feelings if they try to slide him out there every now and then. But he's going to look. Tack is in a position. I saw the little tweet. Woe is me. No, nobody wants me unsigned. You did that to yourself. You came in here and yelled to the top of the lungs how you were going to be a difference maker on this team. And you have been worse than Vic Beasley. You have literally been worse than Vic Beasley. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. So I need more out of you this year, Tack. I do. Love you to death as a Falcon, but you got to give me something. I'm finished with words. I'm finished with bravado. I'm finished with all that. I need action. So I need you to show me that, man, for real. But I do think Davidson is going to push him to answer your question. PJ, who would you want to see them pick up in free agency? I would have loved to see them get Logan Ryan. Denard is going to be solid, though. But I would have loved to see them go get him. I know he was a little pricey, but I would have loved to see them go bring him in. Clowney, go look at Clowney's numbers before. Listen, I'm in love with physical specimens too. Y'all go look at Clowney's numbers. And then when you look at Clowney's numbers, go pull up Vic Beasley's numbers. Put them side to side, and I'm going to let you sit there, and we'll talk about that later. I would love to get Clowney. I know that's a popular name, but put their numbers side by side. Not the physical specimen part. Put it side by side. And also keep in mind that when Clowney was playing on the other side of J.J. Watt. Early. When he first got there, he was getting his numbers off of that. So, just a thought. JD says Tack has a lot to prove. Tack has definitely been worse than Big Beasley. RJ, I would love to see Marlon Davidson on the side of Grady Jarrett in the middle. That's what I would want to see. That's what I want to see. Gabriel says Tack has I'm sorry, I just read that. So I just think that is what when you start thinking about the potential of some of these guys. Look, there's no reason the Falcons shouldn't make the play. There's 7 out of 16 teams in the NFC. I think the Falcons are one of the 7 best teams in the NFC. I really do. If everybody can get over the pomp and circumstances of Tom Brady and Drew Brees, this is not 2010. Now, if you would have said 2010 and they were coming into the and I know Brees has been here, but if you were saying this was 2010 and Brady was coming in, you might get a little bit of goosebumps up here. Since the Tom Brady signing, I swear to you, when I see some of us, not all of us, oh no, Tom Brady, for real, y'all? Did y'all see him lose to Tennessee? Did you see him look like garbage? And I'm not saying Tennessee is the best ever or nothing like that. Tennessee is an average team that ran Henry until he couldn't run anymore. And all props to Derrick Henry, because that's what they did. They ran the bell cow. They basically Jamal Anderson their way to the AFC Championship. They did not ride the arm of Tom Brady. Patriots had the number 1 defense last year. That's how they got to win the division last year. Not because of what he did. Gabriel said, if the Falcons healthy, they should make the playoffs. RJ says Charles Harris is my sleeper on the team. Speaking of AFC East, from the Dolphins. If he can come in and give us a little bit on that rotation, he can be that Adrian Claiborne on that defensive line. I agree with that. Who would you stack the defensive line with? I would have loved to. I like what. Now, are you talking about people who are on the team or people who are free agents? Now, if you're talking about people that are on the team, I like what Tyler Davison gave us last year. I do. Now, can Marlon Davis possibly give us a little more? I think so. I really do. Master said Tom Brady's days are over. He needs to retire. These young cats are going to run circles around him. Shoot, they were running circles around him last year. And I don't care what you look like in shorts and a Tampa Bay jersey, a Tampa Bay t-shirt. I don't care, Makara, what we have now. What I would do right now, I wouldn't start Marlon. I would my first 4 against Russell Wilson, when I start off, I would have Tack on the left, I would have Dante Fowler on the right, and I would have my brother Means and Tyler Davison on the outside, and I put Grady in the middle. That's what I would do on the offensive line. No, I take that back. Take Means out because I forgot we do a 4-man front. I was thinking about for the running game. So I would put Tyler Davison and Grady in the middle, and then Tack and Dante on the outside. Bringing Davison in, Marlon, to spell either Tyler Davison or at times spell Tack. He has experience at both. 300-pound dude. That's some good stuff. Toya says Skip Bayless already put the Bucs in the Super Bowl. It's going to be lovely watching him and other commentators eat their words. Here's the Skip Bayless. You just made me laugh. Skip Bayless picked the Dallas Cowboys every year and he's a homer, so I'm not mad at him. That's his favorite team. Skip Bayless, extremely entertaining. That's the best I can say about him. Davidson might be a rookie of the year candidate, depending on his snap count. Grady draws a double, and this kid looks good. Grady's going to be our best consistent. I'm calling out Julio. Go out there and earn that $22 million. You don't talk, so your play needs to do the speaking. Now, I say that alone. That's not hate towards Julio. That's attention. $22 million of our salary cap is going to a 31-year-old wide receiver. That's not saying I hate Julio, but to Rusty's point, $22 million, you got to show up. Has he showed up for the record? Absolutely. But I need you to give even a little bit more. So I think what you're saying, Rusty, if I'm reading your mind, on first down, I don't need you lightly jogging off the field on second down. I need you to stay in there for 3 plays in a row and show me that you're going to earn some of that money. Come close to some of this Michael Thomas 140 catches. If I'm reading you correctly, and I think I am. JD says, don't listen to these analysts. The same analyst stated Cleveland Browns are going to make the playoffs last year. Let me tell you about Cleveland. Cleveland Browns, and JD, I wish you were riding with me last year when I was doing this during the season, and I'm glad you're aboard now. I told everybody when the season started, Cleveland went out there, and very similar to what Tampa Bay is doing. Keep that in mind, y'all. Very similar to what Tampa Bay is doing. They went out, they had Baker Mayfield, they went out and got Odell, they went out and got, why do I keep forgetting this brother's name? Landry on the other wide receiver. They got the nice tight end. They picked up Kansas City guy, I'm forgetting his name again, the one who got in trouble, and they brought him in, former Kansas City guy. They got Nick Chubb. They brought all these folks in there. Then on top of that, they ruined my intermissions all last year by putting Baker Mayfield on every single commercial they had in between games. I mean, how many times? Baker Mayfield had more commercials last year than Tom Brady. And not that Tom Brady does a whole lot. I'll make it even go. He had more commercials on last year than who's the poster boy for the NFL when it comes to commercials last year. I don't even know. For what? He didn't even do anything. Baker Mayfield did nothing last year. The year before, he had a losing team. But you thought Baker Mayfield was going to be the next Tom Brady. I look at Tampa Bay's situation. They brought in Gronk. They brought in Shady McCoy. They brought in Ndamukong Suh. They're bringing in all these stars to the team because we're going to make us an all-star team and dominate everybody. I'll be shocked if Tampa Bay is higher than 8-8. Shocked. You heard it. Now I'll put money on it. Tommy says Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp would be great for each other. Oh, man. Back to Julio. Anthony says, does he take himself out of the game or do the coaches do that? You know what, Anthony? That's a good point. So, I'm going to give you a little mark here. That's a very good point. So, let me be careful because sometimes that's what the offensive coordinator asks for. I hear you. But I guess my point I'm saying is when you're making $22 million a year, I need to see you. I can't, as an OC, my $22 million player needs to be on the field 70 to 80% of the time. And I understand what you're talking about. Different packages calls for different looks. I get that. So yes, I have to step back and agree with you. Yes, that might be part of a OC situation. So you got me. That might be cool. We run up against it again. It's 8:30. I said I was going to cut it short a little bit this week. We went 2 hours, but again, appreciate all the comments and everything. We're going to do this thing right up to September. Again, got some things I'm coming down the line. We're going to try to do a little bit of streaming And in the background, kind of have it. We can't show the game, obviously, but kind of have it where you guys will be with us as we're watching the game, going through emotions, going through what's going on the field. We're going to do things different this year because it's going to be a different year. Folks aren't going to be in the stadium like we used to. So join me. I appreciate everybody in Atlanta Bird Gang. You guys are awesome and gals are awesome. Thanks a lot. We'll keep this thing going. What jersey will he have on next week? You'll see. Until then, y'all have a great week. Enjoy this first time of August. Stay cool, man. It's been burning up out there. And y'all be good. And hopefully the Falcons will have no COVID positive tests this week. And we'll catch y'all next week. Until then, rise up, rise up, rise up. Y'all be good.